Wow.
Transvestites.
Q-snatch.
What?
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest dick.
The stroker. The stroker.
What?
You know, what the hell? Good old boy syndrome is what I call it.
Wow.
I don't know. That's the kind of thinking you've got. That's the kind of thinking you're supposed to be voting for, I guess, huh? Here I am like an idiot. Here I am like an idiot. Here I am like an idiot. Michigan gave us Motan.
Captain's log.
I'm your huckleberry.
All I'm offering is the truth.
Bring out it!
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the force, you knob.
You're like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
I think there's some kind of deviated treatment.
Welcome to the real world.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I am a HAL 9000 computer.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentablet, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentablet?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up. So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
You lied to me!
Guy talk!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
I think we can go live even a couple of minutes early, or seconds, I guess. Hi, look at that. Look what I got today. Look at that. Look what I got in the mail. There's a little bit of the yellow bleed through because of so that I might be transparent at any given moment during the course of the show. It happens. I've seen worse, but good to see you guys. And by the way, those of you that have been watching the Chauvin trial, my heart goes out to you. I've been watching a bunch of it all day as well. Sort of, there's parts of it where a lot of us who were filled in early on on the evidence that would be coming out in court and all those kind of things, or that paid attention at the time. None of it is surprising in terms of the evidence that's coming out. It's just painful and shocking to watch it again. It is absolutely heartbreaking. And so on the one hand, being informed about what's going on in the case is very important, no doubt. But those of you that are aware of how it went down and aware of all the stories that came out afterwards, and like I said, we're how do I phrase this in a friendly way? That we're more aware than other segments of the populace. Let's just say, I think you have kind of a pass to take it as you can, to not sit through all of it, because I think a lot of us, not that there shouldn't be a full trial and not that there shouldn't be a vigorous defense. And by the way, for the record, the defense lawyer and everybody on his team should and must give the most vigorous defense they can possibly give and use every possible legal tool that they can to protect Chauvin for a couple of reasons. One is that's their legal duty, but the other main reason is so that at no time can there be an appeal of the verdict going, well, this didn't get to, or my team didn't this, or we didn't get to push back against any of that. That's why you always want a vigorous defense in these trials, even when the person is an absolute monster, because you want it to stick. You don't want them to have any wiggle room afterwards that their attorneys didn't do their job properly or find a way out of it after the fact, right? So I have no problems with the hired defense and the people that are defending him, because that, like I said, we have that that's not about this case or that guy. This is about our judicial system and its meaning, and we want a vigorous defense and a vigorous prosecution that brings everything into evidence they possibly can. So when you feel upset that the defense is using whatever tactics they're doing, don't. Use that as a time to recognize how these defenses go. What does work? What is successful and what isn't successful? Because that person's only job is to give that, as vigorous a defense as possible. So the next time we have to deal with an issue like this, which will hopefully be never, but you'll be aware of the kind of fights that are going to be made in court and the arguments that the other side will make emotionally and on Fox News around it, because they will parrot a lot of what the defense is saying, right? Use it as a point of awareness, but don't be shocked that they, or upset that they're making their, as vigorous a defense as they possibly could, that kind of thing. Now, why you wouldn't cop a plea to manslaughter to avoid second-degree murder? That's on Chauvin and the rest of them. And I have a feeling, because of the Mohammed Noon trial, that there's a very strong chance that Chauvin will get second-degree murder. So that's my own personal belief because it's the same theatrical space as far as audience and jury pools and the feeling about the police there and the like. So we'll see. But Mohammed Noon got third-degree murder for something that took seconds. So it is not surprising that, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually were able to get a conviction on second-degree murder with Derek Chauvin. And the only part that I'm curious about is the whispers we heard about the fact that they worked together and that he knew him. if that becomes more of a part of the trial than the cop and man on drugs storyline. That I'm curious about. That I feel like that's information that hasn't fully met the public record or the public awareness. So we shall see. But anyways, that's just to kind of clear the decks in terms of that, because that deserves its own space, and this is not the space for that. That is, you do not try to hold up a boulder on toothpicks. We are here to laugh at the absurd claims of the right and undermine them, and of course fact check and push back on them. Now, how can you fact check Marge Green? How can you do it? How is it possible that you can? Wait a minute, my green screen on? Yeah, that's good. Oh no, it looks all right. Just looking at the cutout because my light went out. That's why. Why did this guy go out? What happened? Go on. This is the. Hold on. Be right there. That's why. Okay. It was a little green and gravelly over there, and I don't know what the actual issue was. That's very strange. I'll fix that later. Anyways, hi. Little tech stuff every so often. Marge Green, looking great, by the way. Marge, you're looking fantastic. We only have 53 seconds of you. I wish we had all day, but watch for. Some of you may have seen this clip on Twitter already, but I want to point out a context that ties into a lot of right-wing arguments, okay? I want you to recognize how she talks about stuff and who her audience is. Yes, the taint light is much better, Wes, thank you.
They want you to be required to have something called a COVID passport.
Okay, so this is about the Biden administration putting out the idea of a COVID passport. Now, businesses and other countries are going to make that. See, the light just went out again. I don't know what the heck's wrong with that. All right, we'll deal with it later. I'll fix it. Basically, there are businesses that are going to stick to the rule of not letting people in unless they've had their vaccine. And a lot of European countries and the like are going to stop that. And if we're going to have business with other countries, and those countries are going to have limitations on people to get together, or they're going to say, if you flew over to America and you went to Lollapalooza and they don't have some sort of make sure most of the people past a certain point are vaccinated, or you don't have a vaccine passport, you can't come back into your own country for 2 weeks because we're having wave after wave and we're not doing that. So as we're trying to open the country, these are mitigating steps to try and fix those issues. And the Biden administration is suggesting an idea that once you get vaccinated, you can have a card that goes with your passport that recognizes that you have been vaccinated and will allow you, if you have business in Europe and other countries that are, throughout the world that are, locking down but for people to come in and travel who have had their vaccine, that if the U.S. government supplied you with one, once you had one, you would have more access, that you would have an actual better chance of growing your business. You'd be on the cutting edge of solving this problem, right? So anyways, listen to the languaging, and it's not an accident.
And this would mandate your ability to be able to travel,
No, it wouldn't, by the way. It would give you the ability to travel to places that are mandating that you be vaccinated before you travel to there. We already are traveling. People are already flying in the United States domestically without having the vaccine. You're having to wear a mask and other stuff, but notice her little notes. Look at this little business right here when she's like, what other lie do I have written down on my iPad? Or did I hear from some nutso Christian minister? So, yeah.
Your ability to be able to go to events, your ability to be able to buy.
No, the events would set the standard for whether or not they will allow people who haven't been vaccinated. And this would be one of the ways that you could prove it instead of just saying, because we're going to need to see your vaccination card. Well, I lost it. I don't have it. Okay, well, if you register one or you have one on file, you carry it. And it's on your phone, by the way. It would have a QR code, so if you don't want it, you just disappear your phone. I don't know. It's so weird.
To buy and sell, and
I'm sorry. You what?
Sell. And
Sorry?
Ability to be able to go to events, your ability to be able to buy and sell.
Buy and sell what now? The second beast was given the power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive mark on their right hands or their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who is in sight calculate the number of the beast, for its number is, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666, the number of the beast. All right. Yeah, that's not an accident. She didn't say buy and sell just because, randomly. This is it. This is their argument is that this is the mark of the beast.
Your ability to be able to buy and sell.
Buy and sell, unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast and the number of its name. Apparently, the number of the beast is COVID is 19, and then 19, and the name of the beast is Pfizer or something. Jesus.
And I asked the question earlier today, is this something like Biden's mark of the beast? Because
you asked that question earlier today because you're a dumbass. I mean, it is beyond the religious beliefs of any given person. Do you understand how absolutely fucking stupid you have to be not to believe that Biden is putting the mark of the beast on people? That if the beast were to have a mark, it would be a QR code on your phone that you have the option to show or not show. I mean, what happened to the good old days when the omen had 3 numbers tattooed right behind his ear, and you had to go sifting through people's hair and endanger yourself of catching lice or exposing yourself to other people's dandruff? Ooh. Where's the craftsmanship, Satan? Where is it? What, are you really willing not to put the time in? If somebody could just get the mark of their beast on their phone, what happens if they don't update the app that has the mark of the beast on it? Then what? Then it won't load, and then there's an icon where, that's kind of grayed out that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, what? Hold on, my mark, is there Wi-Fi in here? My mark of the beast isn't coming up. What? Why would you be proud of asking that idiotic question?
is this something like Biden's mark of the beast? Because that is really disturbing, and
it's really disturbing that you would ask such a dumb fucking question.
Not good. Oh, if you're going to come into the football game or the baseball game or the concert, you need your vaccine passport because we're trying to do a good job to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, by the way, like how she touches her heart, like she's pretending to care, like that person that she's discussing this with that doesn't want her to bring a disease that could kill other people randomly that you might not know you're carrying. Yeah, that kind of thing. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe she's just reliving something from a key party at her health club.
This is what the Biden administration is trying to talk to these private companies into doing.
Why would have to talk them into doing it? And by the way, these aren't just American private companies. This is about travel in Europe, travel in Africa, travel in Asia.
Well, let's analyze that.
Yeah, let's analyze it. Break it down. Sorry.
See, it's
Stop.
still the same thing. It's still fascism or communism.
Or communism, yeah. It's basically.
It's still fascism or communism, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, they're two totally different things, and they, in communism, I guess everybody would just automatically get the card, and nobody would even ask you if you wanted it, or you wouldn't have it. You'd have. I guess we're talking about tattoos or something in terms of the communist version, and the fascism version of it would be, I guess, only people who were in power would have access to the Kiss My Ass card that would allow you to go everywhere.
But it's coming from private companies. So I have a.
And yeah, it's coming from private companies. You got kind of, fascism or communism that's coming from corporations. What?
You want to call it. but it's coming from private companies. So I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Yeah. Corporate communism. I mean, isn't it the worst kind of communism? Is corporate communism? It's kind of like I don't know, like gun rights Christianity. It's kind of like pro-rights, pro-life militias. Gosh, how much yeah, you heard that right. Yeah, that's what she calls it.
Corporate communism.
Corporate communism.
I call it corporate communism.
Really? Oh, God. For the record, this is a woman who apparently thinks she has communistic access to all the scattered ass at her health club. So maybe that's where it, this is an elected official. Way to go, North Georgia. Corporate communism. Corporate communism. So a private, this is a Republican saying this, a private company sets their own health standards and says nobody who doesn't meet those health standards can get in because we don't want to kill off our employees that it took us a long time to get, or kill off our customer base or the heads of the other business that we interact with and they come in for a meeting. We don't want some ragged anti-masker, anti-vaxxer to come in here and screw up our whole business model for the next 10 years because our CEO, was away on vacation and didn't get his shot yet and he ends up dying and then we have to scuttle the death. So we're instituting a form of communism. Yeah. Corporate communism. Well played. Yeah. Fat Olympic track runner. Honest to God. This is... And I love that she was proud that she brought up the Mark of the Beast thing, that she knows Revelation. She doesn't know it's 13, 15 through 18, but she knows, she's heard it from movies. You know what I mean? Buy and sell and Mark of the Beast and all that kind of stuff. Never mind that 666 was, when they were, having to hide their Christianity, during Roman times, that 666 was the number of the emperor in the Roman Empire, and that you'd have to get basically you get a pass from the Roman Empire to be able to buy and sell your goods and stuff. It was a anti-taxation reflex, But I mean, that's what I guess. Let's see. Footnotes, Revelation 13:8. Or is humanity's number. As opposed, that's this part right here. For it is the number of a man. As opposed to it's humanity's number. So humans are 666. Everyone has the mark of the... If everybody's got the number of the beast, if every member of humanity has it, this calls for wisdom. Well, thank God we have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Or is instead of it's man's number, it's like, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. This is kind of a zone of this or whatever is the, okay. Oh boy. Thanks, Marge. By the way, we appreciate the fact that if you have to fart, go out onto the porch. It shows kindness and respect for the rest of the House members. Good Lord. All right, so today, that was just a short little antipasta, a little appetizer. So, yikes. Oh my God, this is frightening. So this is, for those of you who don't know, this is Dennis Prager over here. And who's the syndicated radio real story? Joins us on The Real Story on Biden's plan to defeat the China virus and how it has instigated hate crime. So this is them defending the right to be racist against Asian people because they believe the CCP allowed the virus to get into the United States, and therefore, I guess the sins of the father, if we're going to stick to biblical shit, the sins of the father will be visited upon the child, and therefore any Asian person kind of has it coming because of what he suspects the CCP did in terms of hiding the source of the disease.
Joining us now to separate fact from fiction.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that he's here, guys.
On quote, the Wuhan virus or quote, the China virus, don't worry.
Or quote, the China virus, quote, the China virus, nevermore.
I'm not saying it, I'm just quoting CNN. Is nationally syndicated radio talk show host and founder of Prager.
Ooh, she's spicy.
Dennis Prager.
Dennis, thank you for joining us under a fry light.
I think the media wants to forget that sequence of all the times they started the Wuhan virus, the China virus, but now if you say it.
So CNN started calling it the China virus. CNN started calling it the Wuhan virus. Citation needed.
You're xenophobic.
Well, you are. I mean, if you're quoting someone else, I mean, the irony is that, well.
The left, since Lenin, has...
Since Lenin? Well, I never said we were more important than Jesus, just that we were more well-known. Imagine all the people. Wrong Lenin.
Change language. Up is down, down is up.
Oh, I see. So that's why you're dressed the way you are.
Men give birth. Wuhan is not the origin of the virus. Climate change instead of global warming.
Yeah, so accuracy over time as we learn more information is the problem. Gotcha.
And that's what they do. They manipulate language.
I see. So like when you say pro-life, but you want wife beaters and people with psychological problems to be able to buy a gun, that's, I see. All right.
To say that all of us are created in God's image and there's only one human race is now, according to the University of California, racist. So that is what you're encountering. This is part of a...
Sorry. So if you go on according to Dennis Prager, if you go on the campus of UCLA and say, we're all one people, we are all the human race, you'll get fired. I'm going to guess that the person that he's referencing that may have gotten asked to go on a leave of duty or was arguing that, again, there were other statements they brought up that may have been an issue beyond just saying, we're all one race, man. We're the human race. We're all the same. Yes, that is totally racist. One race, human racist is a thing now.
Much larger thing of left-wing totalitarian language.
Well, I watched...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, saying all people are one, it's just crazy.
Your fireside chat.
How do you have the blondes team up against the brunettes if we're all one people?
And I thought it was fascinating because I keep hearing the stat going around that there's been a 150% increase in hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Ooh, that is funny. 150% increase in hate crimes against Asians, and the response. That's adorable.
I actually broke it down, and I have not heard anybody do it before.
Break it down, Dennis. If anybody understands what Asian people are going through right now in terms of Trump's whole China virus thing and the increase in violence against them, if anybody gets it, it's Dennis Pringle.
Tell our audience how you broke that down, where they're...
Oh my God, tell us.
They're getting that 100...
Oh my God.
150% number from, and
where are they getting it from?
What kind of crimes are even talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Somebody being rude? Somebody saying China virus near you? Is that what it is?
This was from the California State San Bernardino, I believe. They have a Center for the Study of Hate.
A Center for the Study of Hate. So I mean, they must be blowing up your phone every day then, Dennis.
You would imagine. And
no, I don't. I would either look it up, take your word for it, or dismiss it outright. No, I don't spend any time imagining the weird lefty things that California supposedly has that might upset Dennis Prager.
And of course, it's basically all one-sided hate. There's no hate from the left, needless to say. They would close up shop.
Why are you showing me an aromatherapy spa where the killing happened? Oh, are you going to say that because that dude was allegedly he was a Christian and he was an anti-sex psychopath, that means the other stuff? Oh, thank you so much. Look at that. That discounts all the other stuff. I see.
And it's their stats that actually were cited in the New York Times and elsewhere. And I think it went from 22 to 87, the number of incidents, something like that.
Something like that, from 22 to 87. So, actual acts of physical violence and actual acts of, verbal abuse that are reported are largely indicative of broader hate crimes that aren't reported, that people are too afraid to deal with. But here's an issue. When you have that kind of a leap that quickly, it is very easily on a social level to allow that to be a justification point if you don't go after it and call it what it is right away, and it kind of can spiral into an accepted form. Oh, thanks. The box is nice. It's a gift from you guys. Thanks for becoming a patron. So again, by the way, when I talk about percentage versus the actual number, that's where he's getting this.
In other words, if for example, Albanian Americans, if 2 had been harassed this year and 1 last year, you would say a 100% increase in harassment of Albanian Americans. This is the world of the lie in which we are living, perpetrating.
Sorry, tell me about the numbers of abortions, therapeutic abortions versus optional abortions, or the usage of the morning after pill, for example, in your statistical number of abortions that happened during the year that shows us that they're on the rise because the left is always trying to get more, just kind of whimsical abortions. Can we do that too? Can we take your actual number and break that down into how many are becoming the result of actual day after contraception, which is before it actually even where it prevents contraception, or prevents conception rather, and yet you tack that onto your abortion number to make it look like abortions keep going up and Democrats just want them nonstop all the time. Can we do that one? Can we do that actual number and that percentage too?
Perpetrated by the mainstream media.
And you saw Biden's introducing this act, this COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, to actually make it a hate crime. They're saying if you say
to what?
China virus, he already removed it all from federal agencies, any paperwork from the Health and Human Services. You can't say China virus. You can't.
Yeah, because it's here and there are multiple strains and it's just racist and it's not China's fault. Even if the CCP, even if everything they want to be true about it, the Chinese Communist Party created a virus and intentionally attacked us. That's the Rudy Giuliani line, right? Sent it over here, and of course Trump defended America by pretending it didn't exist and then selling them a bunch of soybeans. That because Chamberlain. Oh, so by removing the China virus part of it, because Chinese people in general are not responsible for this. And because China's not just a country, it's also a race, that might unfairly target Chinese Americans. Okay.
You can't say Wuhan virus. Now they're doing a hate crimes act. What's the purpose behind this?
Well, by the way, you can say it. They're just not using it in official communications. So again, remember what they say. Like it's important for you to know that because they're not using it in the official conversations, they're calling it COVID-19 or coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2, the legit names for it, because they call it the real thing. The conversation between these two over penis is not okay. Nor is dick.
Behind this act, what's the real control? What's the end game?
Yeah, tell us the end game of not being able to tag a billion people with the actions of their government that you allege.
In this, because you saw it last week when there was that shooting where before even knowing anything, he said it was a hate crime against Asian Americans, when then later on we found out the motive was quite differently. So what's the end game that you see here from the left?
Yeah, it's white guy goes into multiple Asian spas, kills Asian people, and the immediate feeling that, by the way, let's just say, let's feed into what she's talking here, that this fellow was sexually addicted and blamed these women for his own inability to control himself. The fact that he didn't go to a massage envy or just shoot females he found attractive, like an incel lunatic and, like the dude with the car in Toronto, was racially focused. It is a hate crime because he blamed these specific women of a specific race for his problem. You see how yeah, it's racist. He focused on their race as a primary instigator of his own sinfulness. If I could just eliminate the Asian massage ladies I'm attracted to, then I will be free of this sickness. It's really their fault. Right? Is this not?
The end game is to further their belief, their imposed belief that whites and white America and America are essentially evil.
I had no idea. I have to guys, I have to rearrange my entire schedule. I didn't know that my whole end game was to make you think whites were evil. I thought maybe just that we were trying to recognize that people that weren't white had a part in the playing in a positive sense and in a forced sense in some cases to the creation of this country, and there's due respect that they weren't given over that time that they might deserve, and where it hasn't been dealt with before, we could actually try. I didn't realize that by participating in a hashtag like Stop Asian Hate that I was that's really just a mask for Start White Hate. He does realize that, like, during the Chauvin trial today, there were white people testifying against Derek Chauvin, right? They do. All right, Christ.
And that's it.
I am. That's true, Bertha. I am evil. That's true, but only in the Metallica Kill 'Em All sense.
That's it. Look, why do they allow Hong Kong flu? Why is that allowed to be said? Why could we say
it's not? Nobody's saying Hong Kong flu. They're saying Kung flu, and that's not allowed either. And the fact that you fucking don't understand where the Kung flu part comes in as a linguistic pun about the fact that it came from China, and foo and flu sounding similar, and therefore being able to be swapped out, and Hong Kong being dragged into it because you don't understand that Hong Kong and the Kung or gung in Kung Fu are different words, and because you don't give a shit, that means other people are participating in an activity of censorship because they won't allow a racist phrase that you just made up.
Say the Spanish flu, which turns out not to have begun in Spain, but
it's the Kansas flu.
Nevertheless, we still say Spanish flu, and that killed far more than this proportion.
We don't call it the Spain flu, though. And also, that term wasn't dreamt up back then. And we have not seen a rise in attacks on Spanish people, largely because anybody who speaks Spanish, you guys assume are Mexican, and you spend all their time attacking them. You view Spain as a European country, that's effectively white.
Fortunately. They probably will change those names as well. Hong Kong flu, most
nobody's gonna start saying the stupid version you just made up. Good prediction. I'm gonna make up a word nobody uses and then pat myself on the back for thinking that, for saying that nobody's going to keep saying it.
Obviously, because it's more recent. Again, it's the manipulation.
Hey, Dennis Prager, but fair, in the 60s, there was a Hong Kong flu. Okay, right, in the 60s.
Of language toward the end, whatever the left's end is at any given moment.
It moves around. I mean, we don't really have a real end game. I mean, sort of anti-white racism, and then, kind of self-hating white, guilt, I guess. And then some days it's just flat out mark of the beast. We're just trying to rubber stamp people. We have a hard time deciding. Tell us which way to go, Dennis.
They will then make it a hate crime to say men cannot give birth. I have no doubt that will be regarded as a hate crime.
Well, it won't. I have a tremendous amount of doubt.
And
it already is in Canada, which is worse than us.
It feels like...
Yeah, definitely Canada's worse than us. Sorry, Canada. Man, it's got to be rough. When does Trump take over up there?
It's word games, and I think a lot of times people just...
Yeah, it's word games. That's all it is. It's just we're all playing trouble.
Think, oh, they're just playing...
It's just leftist Scrabble.
Games with words, but it's very dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
They're doing. You even see
it my gosh.
At the border. They're saying that you can't say it's a border crisis. It's a challenge.
No one's saying you can't say it's a border crisis. You obviously can. You're not being censored. What kind of whiny, petulant, whingy bullshit is this? It isn't a crisis. It's a challenge, as it's always a challenge. If you're calling it a crisis because you want it to reflect poorly on Biden. That's why you're calling it a crisis. Everybody else is calling it a challenge because you attack and you deal with it as a real issue, and it's tough. And you don't have any illusions that it isn't easy, that it's easy, or that it isn't difficult. But you go after it all the same. Hence, challenge. A crisis is you've already had your panic attack and you're flipping out. And now understand that they call it a crisis because brown people. There's some brown people that have. That's a crisis.
But this is their game. If they can manipulate the language, if they can manipulate...
if they can manipulate the language, then what?
Free speech, you're not free anymore.
Oh my God. You're not free anymore to be bigoted in public without the society as a whole going, you're an asshole. You do realize the government isn't filtering any of this. And in discussion amongst government employees who are responsible for overseeing the governing of everyone in the goddamn country, that having rules about the language that you use because you're representing everyone, even if they didn't vote for you, might be a necessity. It might be useful to have everybody on the same team, not a pocket of assholes over in a corner, continuing to use a racist phrase from the last guy when you're trying to bring the country that's divided together. I'm just saying. And by the way, nobody's stopping them from saying this. Nobody. She just called it a crisis. They've all said all of the phrases. I've said all the phrases, quoting and referencing what they're saying. There's no attack on free speech whatsoever. None. They're getting roundly criticized by the rest of humanity, and they're not used to it.
And that's really the agenda of...
Is it? Guys, go to page 4 on your liberal agenda for today. It might be under new business or very old business. I think communism is under old business.
Of this administration, is that how you see it too?
Yeah. Do you see it the way I see it, and we're both arguing with each other?
Of course.
Of course I see it like you. Why would you even have me on? You don't have anyone on OAN that doesn't absolutely agree with you. And I don't appear on shows unless they are hosted by people who absolutely agree with me. I mean, of course.
Went from illegal alien to illegal immigrant to undocumented immigrant, and now there's a new term. I forgot what it is. I think...
How can you forget what it is? It is your entire meaning of life.
It's now honored citizen or honored future citizen. I'm not sure what the term...
That's it's hilarious. So good.
...term will be. By the way, I want you to know the parody that I just engaged in. It's becoming more and more difficult to use parody with regard to the left.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. Because we just don't know how funny you are, Dennis. That's it. I mean, maybe try a puppet. That works for, like, most of the racist comics I know use puppets so they can kind of hide behind, listen to what this wacky thing is saying. What? I'm just saying what we're all thinking. You know? Maybe try that, Dennis.
It's true.
What was a joke 6 months ago is
you now.
Real today.
Oh my God. Jokes are coming true. It's the end times.
On Bill Maher's show a year and a half ago and said, you think Donald Trump lies? How about this lie that men menstruate? And Bill Maher and the entire audience laughed themselves silly that I had made it up. And now, of course, it's a hate crime.
It's not a hate crime. It's you being a dick. If a female to male trans person is still menstruating, they are a trans man, and they deserve all the rights and protections that they can be afforded as men, but they still have to deal with the fact that biologically they still menstruate. It doesn't mean men menstruate. It means that trans men will still menstruate if they haven't had a radical hysterectomy as a form of corrective surgery on their physical person. But please, make some peg leg jokes while you're at it, since you're talking about people who were, if somebody was born without a leg or whatever, and they decide to wear one, tell us how they shouldn't be allowed in shoe stores because they don't really have 2 feet, you dizzy fuck.
The J.K. Rowling is like, she's a non-person now because she said, well, men, in fact, do not menstruate. And
that's not what she said. But and by the way, many people have come to her defense that she was actually making sure that women are in a biologically protected class beyond the fact that her fear, and I talk about this in my stand-up, so I don't want to give away the joke, has a lot more to do with heterophobia than it has to do with transphobia. But that you'll have to come see my live show to hear that whole piece.
And that's it.
But again, by the time you come see me live, the joke might have come true and won't be parody anymore because it'll just be reality. Because apparently, comedy is a form of witchcraft now.
It's so interesting. It's like we saw it all in the election too, where then even saying voter fraud, they were going after Twitter accounts, suspending it if you used it.
No, they weren't going after you because you said voter fraud. You can say voter fraud. I said voter fraud a bunch of times. I said the phrase, said it. I said fraud and voter and fraud and voter fraud all together. It's the context of what you're talking about and who you are and the alleged nature of your awareness. So if you're just some random asshole and you're posting stuff because you believe it, nobody went after that. But if you were posting stuff that Sidney Powell was putting out, it gives the illusion that she knows what the fuck she's talking about, and that since you're posting what she's posting, you're carrying that forward, so you get that stuff scrubbed. And she even admitted later on that only an asshole would believe her.
And I even saw people, they would put asterisks in it because they wanted to say fraud, but they were so afraid of being suspended. But it's like controlling the language. We are really moving towards a totalitarian.
We totally are. We're absolutely. And you're worried that you're not in charge of it, I guess, is the problem.
Society.
That's right.
Where free speech is gone. And once free speech is gone, they're going to have control of elections and control of the country. They already took control with COVID, making us all Dr. Fauci, making him out to be some god.
Making us all Dr. Fauci? Christ, it's like he's the Negan of COVID-19. We're all, what? We're all Dr. Fauci now? I resent that, because I actually can throw a baseball.
Whatever he says, we all have to live by, or else we're going to...
No, you don't. It's just best practice.
They get thrown in jail, so even church...
No, but nobody's getting thrown in jail.
Churches.
Not even churches, no. Nobody's gone to jail for that. I mean, you've had people who, if the church had a rule and they wouldn't, like, there was a woman who wouldn't wear a mask in the Catholic Church, and they allowed her to receive communion, but she wouldn't put her mask back on. They said, you gotta put your mask on, or you gotta leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving. So they called the cops, and she was removed from the premises because she was trespassing, not because she wouldn't wear a mask.
So listen, if you just say, the vaccine has really not been tested nearly as thoroughly as any other vaccine.
Because of time. Wait a minute. Is Dennis Prager questioning Operation Fart Steve?
Captain's log.
I'm not saying it's dangerous.
I'm just allowing for the inference thereof.
The person writing this, let's say, that Twitter account would be brought down. So what I do on my radio show to avoid
It's so clever.
that is say, Dr. Fauci has said the vaccine is not effective. How do we know that? Because he said you still have to wear a mask after.
That's not what he said. Doesn't mean it's not effective. I mean, again, this is Dennis Prager trying to be clever. That's not even close to what he said. I mean, this is some Rand Paul bullshit. You could tell that Dennis Prager and Rand Paul just, human centipede each other, and it's just kind of like a human centipede, part two.
You get the vaccine. That proves it's not effective.
Science.
That's Dr. Fauci, not Prager.
That's not what Dr. Fauci said at all. That would be you lying about what he's saying, which I guess would technically be he would have the ability to sue you for defamation or libelous speech or for lying about his work or his studies, that kind of thing. I mean, I suppose that's part of it. But the problem is that Fauci would actually have to give a shit and think that you speak for anyone, and you don't.
Not Prager.
Well, and it's during
So clever.
the campaign.
Oh my God.
Here, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were going around saying, "Oh, because Trump invented it, it's dangerous."
1 second. Trump invented it. Look, I know you like him. I know there's just something about his man boobs that does it for you. You know what I mean? But no one, maybe except Trump, has said that he invented it.
Dangerous. I won't take it. It's December. They're all taking it, and now they're saying they invented it.
No, they actually said during both the debates, both during the Democratic debates and Biden's debate with Trump, that they would wait till the scientists signed off on it, not just take it on his insistence.
Invented it. So it's again the narrative that is we aren't getting the real story.
I don't think it's not that you're getting the right story. I think it's that as the story boll weevils its way into your ear and dung beetles its way through your brain, by the time it reaches some sort of neuroreceptor that you apparently on your planet use for healing, is so mangled that you think you're hearing something other than what's being said. It might be, and I would not recommend either of you to make out with Steve Bannon anymore, because I think it might be you might have the parasite that he had really bad yesterday when he was listening to Mike Lindell.
Story out of this administration, we aren't getting the real story out from the mainstream media, and
unlike here,
we're having trouble getting the real word out too, because they're coming after our social media accounts. They're coming after our programs.
Well, programs. I mean, they're basically like video. This isn't I don't call this a program. Just me hanging out with you. Can we, what, you bought a graphics package and that's what makes you a real network? I don't think so.
But Dennis, I want to have you back because your fireside chats, what you're doing, you're still...
Oh, they're so good. The fireside chats.
Getting the word out.
You can tell the country's been destroyed. There's no hope for the future because Dennis Prager is sitting in front of a fire yammering. We'll do one of those soon, shall we? Do you want to do one of the Dennis Prager fireside chats?
And I hate to say it, but you were the first one to get suspended on YouTube, and then all of a sudden it all started happening.
Oh my God. Maybe because he was lying about the vaccine early on.
To the rest of us, and we're like, wait a second, Dennis has been here.
Yeah, Dennis is the canary in the coal mine.
Before, but you kept finding out ways.
The baby Huey, I suppose.
To get the word out. So God bless you in the work you do, and we want to talk to you soon.
Love it.
So good. I mean, I feel like we've all learned so much. Ugh. I'm surprised they didn't bring up Mr. Potato Head, though. And by the way, speaking of Mr. Potato Head, Mark Levin is having a rough day. The reason Mark Levin is having a rough day is because he has to have Candace Owens on his show. And let's be honest, black people make him very uncomfortable. Even when they absolutely would, pay for the VIP seats to sniff his farts, even those people, it scares the crap out of him. But I'm certain this one is, by the way, Candace Owens, Democrats gaslighting with Jim Crow election law claims. They're gaslighting us. And it's fun how, I like how, they've been talking about how the left uses language to manipulate people or whatever. And basically, their new tactic, or their tactic for the last probably 6 years, is to take whatever language the left comes to from 1984 to the term gaslighting and just co-opt it and do this kind of like, I'm a rubber ball, you're glue tactic, right? So, good times.
Let me ask you this, Candace Owens.
Mr. Producer?
The Democrats.
I'm going to take my glasses off for this one because you deserve it. I don't want to have to see you.
All over the place saying we need to pass election reform. And if you don't pass what we want you to pass, it's like Jim Crow.
Uh-huh.
You want to oppress black people.
Right.
If you don't vote for $1.9 trillion in massive spending that our children and grandchildren are going to have to deal with in some impoverished way.
I see. So if the economy collapses, because it was starting to slow next month, and Moody's and all the guys on Wall Street are going, yeah, we're going to need an infusion. Powell's saying this, but it's some big lefty conspiracy to put money into the economy to make sure that during the next few months that we can't get people up and moving again as fast as possible, while Europe is getting hit by a third wave that's worse than the first one. But I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Then again, you must oppose equality. You must oppose economic justice. They steal the language.
You do oppose economic justice. You don't even actually believe a thing like that exists. And they don't use the word equality in the Biden administration. They use equity. And you would think that would be something that you folks would understand in the...
Mr. Producer, shut him up.
Language. And I feel they particularly use minorities, and most of all African Americans, as cover for the radical agenda.
I see. It's not because the Republicans are attacking minorities and brown-skinned people. It's because the left just... Why would they work as a shield if you guys didn't...
What do you think?
I think you are absolutely right, and I can...
Well, it's good. I'm glad. It's so nice that I'm seeing a theme today on these shows. Can you pick out what it is that all these guests and their hosts have in common?
Not have said this enough over the...
By the way, I think I've disagreed with Stuttering John when I'm on his podcast, or even his guests, more often and more, obviously on a tactical level, than these guys have. Is that not... wouldn't you agree? Those of you that have watched me on Stuttering John's thing, when they bring up a subject or something, have I not? All right.
Over the last...
What's with her hair? I don't know. I don't know what's with her hair. What's with my hair is what you're really wondering.
4 years. It really has been...
I worked out this morning, and I didn't get to wash it, so it's kind of... I've got, like if I put it in a ponytail, I'll look like Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2. I want my bird.
My mission and my purpose to make sure Black Americans and all minorities in this country recognize that. I feel that the Democrat Party represents Black America like plantation owners represented slaves.
All right. That's adorable. Because, yeah, I remember when plantation owners were pushing for reparations. Remember that? That was an awkward moment in history. I mean, it didn't last for very long. Remember that time when plantation owners were pushing for loans for and loan guarantees for black businesses to help them get off the ground? I can't remember what year was that, guys. You'll have to help me historically. Was it 1882? I'm gonna have to go look it up.
And the irony here being...
Yes, Blexit means black exit from the Democratic Party. She's a Blexit founder.
...is that the Democrats were the slave owners. They're using language referring to things like Jim Crow. Who was the party that implemented Jim Crow in this country?
well, obviously, we're going to go into the... Are we doing into the Dinesh D'Souza? We're going to pretend the 60s didn't exist? We're going to pretend that the Dixiecrats didn't become Republicans, and that the Republicans who weren't racist decided to become Democrats, and a big shift over caused by the Civil Rights Act? We're going to pretend that shit didn't happen? Are you going to... Let me... Tell me again about how Lincoln, you're the party of Lincoln right now, and that the Lincoln Project is the one that's off base.
This country, it was the Democrats, and that's the deep, sinister evil of
it. Totally deep. They were so sneaky that they took the Republicans that were against racism and were abolitionists for religious reasons, and usurped them into the Democratic Party so that they could, I guess, wipe them out over time.
Of the Democrat Party is that they're really just rewriting what they
Democratic Party. Thank you.
Authored in the beginning, right? These were the slave masters, and they understand this system better than anybody else because they wrote it. It is the fabric of the Democrat Party. If you want to look at, and you spoke about so...
Yeah, I know. Guys, you've seen the Democratic platform. Oh my God. I'm up to here with Cotton. Aren't you guys? I mean, they want to play Song of the South at every DNC. I mean, it's just so tiring.
So many important things.
Like we don't have it memorized already.
Your monologue, but if you want to look at why they are doing these things to the education system.
Please tell us why they're trying to improve the ventilation systems in schools and make sure that teachers don't have to spend their own money for books and pencils.
Why they're implementing critical race theory.
Okay. So you mean at the college level?
The answer is very simple.
Is it?
Because they seek to turn Black Americans into toddlers. They want to make sure that we have no...
Wait a minute. I thought they were enslaving them or so I'm sorry, but I've had a toddler, my kid's 9 now and he's doing fantastic, but when he was a toddler, I wouldn't have asked him to do any slave labor. He just didn't have the back for it.
No knowledge. It's the same reason, Mark, that they didn't, in part of their slave codes in the South was to make sure that Black Americans were not allowed to learn how to read. They understand that
I'm sorry. So the improvements in schools that Democrats are pushing for is to stop Black people from being able to read. Huh?
An educated mind cannot be enslaved. So they need to...
An educated mind cannot be enslaved. So they're funding for schools.
Make sure there are no educated mind. What better way to ensure that?
Yes, there should be no... The Democrats want to make sure there are no educated mind.
To pretend that you're educating Black Americans, but instead you're filling our minds with absolute filth.
Filth. Absolute filth. What school are we talking about? Mark, have you been giving Candace textbooks again?
Us see the world in black and white. Right?
Oh, Lord.
Right, telling us that all we should care about is the color of our skin.
Well, no, of course not. But, I mean, appreciating it, not feeling bad about it would be a nice touch, if because of generations of people being made to feel bad. We'd like to remind you that a lot of us don't want you to feel bad about your skin color, or anyone's skin color for that matter. But I'm sorry, I forgot. We're trying to, white, race hate, Black people also. Apparently the left wants everyone to feel bad about their skin color?
Don't teach us hard academics, Mark. Don't teach us math, science, chemistry.
I'm sorry. They don't teach math, science, and chemistry in schools when there are Black kids present? What?
Teach us how to love this country. Teach us how to be hateful, how to be vengeful, how to see nothing but our own race and to say, oh, all you deserve in America is to be outside rioting and looting and taking what's yours because you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I don't know, guys, if you've been to an elementary school lately, especially in Black neighborhoods, it's like revolution class is like half the day. And then it's like recess, how to be a welfare king, they teach like even the vocabulary tests are all like, my STEMI, it's, like literally the person who won the Blexit spelling bee, had to do Obama phone. It was not easy. They let FONE slide.
That will never, ever get ahead that way, right? That is the system. We've had so many immigrant groups come to this country and become successful, and yet Black America has not been able to do that.
Yeah. Can I point out that sentence? Can I grab something from that sentence? Come versus being brought. There's a very distinct difference between people who came here because they had a home country and family and all that kind of stuff that connected with them and had financial backing in a lot of ways, and a country to go back to where they knew their relatives and had a safety net, and they came to the United States to try and make their way. And then versus people who do not have that connection, do not know who their family is, were brought here against their will, and then every chance they had after they were freed to kind of start building things were stifled for quite a few decades. Just saying, there's a difference between, again, are we going into the problem that these folks have with consent? Is that what this is? Is like their whole doubting of the Me Too movement and the like has, just because they can't grasp what consent means?
You think that's because of slavery? You think that's because of slavery? Absolutely not. It's because of a new slave system built by the Democrats that is written to the DNA of the welfare system, the attack on the family, which they're now implementing all around America.
Yeah, that's what it was. The attack on the family.
Not just exclusive to Black Americans.
No. I mean, they're attacking everybody's family, but Black people are being affected by it more because they've been indoctrinated into this, I don't know.
And it's because of the education system, which has been absolute garbage.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't even teach science. They teach, how to burn down a target, not build one.
And it makes me so angry.
Well, I mean, how do you know? Candace, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know you're angry because of your feelings? How do you not? Don't you realize you were taught to be angry by the education system? Are your feelings even your own?
That they are still doing this, and that they're now broadening their reaches and saying, you know what, not just Black America. Not just Black America, because one part of the thing is that Black Americans, the growth rate population-wise is not significant enough. So now they're bringing in a new class of voters. They're bringing in Hispanic Americans from over the border. Everyone.
I see. So this is the they're shipping in Mexicans to display, because they just can't make enough Black people for the enslavement system that's being, so we're now just bringing in, as all the Mexicans we can manage, because the extent of pro-life Catholicism in South and Central America really leans towards Democratic voting over the decades, if you let them live here, and that okay.
Everyone keeps calling this a border crisis. Marcus, isn't a border crisis. This is a border plan. They are
it's a plandemic of border proportions.
Trying to import a new class of voters. They are trying to say to the Mexican Americans, to the South Americans that are coming over the border, we will help you. We'll give you free stuff like we gave Black Americans.
You do realize that South American people and Mexican Americans aren't the same. The Mexicans, South America is an entire. They would be Brazilian Americans if they moved here. They would South American people. That you realize they're not Americans. It's oh god damn it.
Americans free stuff, and after Jim Crow ended, we're gonna welfareize you. We're gonna.
That's right. Come on in.
Give you handouts. We're gonna marry you to the government like we married Black Americans to the government. It's pure evil.
Oh, and so Black people and Hispanic people are clinging to evil. That's adorable. Oh, you're just gonna end on that. You're just gonna leave. That's the out. Mark didn't have a comeback on that one? Mr. Producer, grab a clip of that. It's pure evil. Black people, and it's like evil is like a tractor beam for Black and brown people. That's all I have to say. That's all there is to it. Thank you, Candace. Oh, what's your name? Oh, no, not him yet. So, Tucker Carlson, has his new show with his little, on Fox Nation, because they're worried, they're basically Blexiting him off the network. They're Flexiting. It's the Flexit. It's the Fox. It's Nexit. Foxnet. This woman is white. Diana Turner. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Yeah, we're getting welfareized, which is, it's kind of like being laminated. Yeah.
You are looking live at the Rio Grande Valley.
Oh my God. Look at that. It's a crisis. People leaning up against the wall who've been caught.
As Border Patrol is rounding up.
So I thought the border was open. Why are they rounding people up if... Hold on, I'm going to make this a little bigger. Why are they rounding people up if they're just letting them through? I thought... Remember that? Yesterday, they were just blasting right through.
A group of migrants.
Yeah, as you can see, we've got the
Unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable. No, completely believable, dummy. Why is it unbelievable? Do you not think people across... You know what's unbelievable? Is they're on the American side of Trump's wall. How'd they get through the wall? How'd they get over the wall? How'd they get under the wall? It's perfect.
a drone shot. What is interesting about this
is how we made fun of drones during Trump's time, and we said, if you just have a wall, you could fix this so easily, and here you go, you've got the wall, and if it wasn't for the drone, we wouldn't have even caught these people.
Once upon a time, the migrants would race across the border.
In Mexico, it's a good movie. I mean, it's,
border and then
it's no Desperado, but it'll do.
But now what they're doing is they are waiting in place for the Border Patrol to turn themselves in, because if you're an unaccompanied migrant child or a family, for the most part, it's going to be the easy pass to get into the United States. Just turn yourself in. They will process you at one of those jail-like facilities that is overcrowded.
Yeah, why don't kids know better? I mean, look at this kid. Clearly, I mean, I have to understand. Look, this guy, are you telling me this kid can't pull his own goddamn weight? Why is he even, I mean, look at it. Oh, so your mom's holding your sister, so you're down here. What are you doing? Digging for American gold. He gets right over the thing and starts trying to stake a claim. Look at this other lady with a baby. This is gross.
The next stop, Ainsley, is someplace in America.
That's right.
They're already someplace in America, dummy.
That's right. We're seeing some single individuals coming in. We're seeing unaccompanied children, and we're also seeing families. And most of the families, if you look at the numbers from this past February compared to last February, it was
are the same people that were waiting when they were turned away?
Here in the Rio Grande Valley. Let's bring in Tucker Carlson.
Oh, wait, that's not a hole in the gate. That's an actual opening that's designed. That's not an unfinished section of wall. These are people who walked into the United States and were... Okay.
Carlson, he is host of Tucker Carlson Tonight. Hey, Tucker.
Well, is he... But no, he's the host of Tucker Carlson Today. He's on Tonight, but he's also on Today. Why are you calling it Tonight when he's clearly... He's trying to sell his new show in his log cabin that they built for him at 30 Rock, or wherever the shit Fox is.
Good morning.
Good morning. We miss you on the morning show, but...
That's not true. I mean, he can't lie to the guy right out of the gate.
We're proud of you for all your success. What do you make of what's happening down there on the border? Is that our biggest issue right now?
Little Brian Dillweed. Fuck that guy.
Now?
Well, yeah, because unlike so many issues we face right now, this one will, we know for certain, change the country forever. I mean...
Uh-oh. The browning of America.
The stakes couldn't be higher. The question...
Well, yeah, I mean, for the Duggars and people like that, I mean, do you imagine how many more babies these folks have to kick out to compete with the number of Hispanic families and Mexican people and Guatemalans that are coming to the border and being sent home immediately?
The question of who lives here is the central question. It's a democracy. So when you change the population, you change the outcome of the vote.
Yeah, and Mexicans are never, Mexican immigrants are never going to vote for Republicans because we don't want them to. Ew!
Which means you change the way the country is run. And that's, of course, the whole point of this. This country has gained 100...
We're trying to run it like Guatemala. Is that the thing? That's the whole point. We're importing these folks because we know what kind of government they like, as South Brown Americans. You know, they'll come up here and then they'll go, well, democracy's nice a little bit, but can we have a little more authoritarian Venezuela thing? I mean, arguably that's what they fled. But, you know, you get homesick. You know, the devil you know is always easier than the devil you don't, right, Tuck? Oh my God, what's happening to your face? Don't. That was not on purpose. That was not on purpose. I did not freeze frame this. This is just, if you've ever wanted to know what it looks like when Tucker Carlson has a meeting with Rupert Murdoch. Sorry.
100 million people in the last 30 years. Most Americans aren't even aware of that. So we've had 100
million people. So we have 420 million people in the country. Sorry, what was that again?
In the last 30 years.
No, again, I need
it's a democracy. So when you change the population, you change the outcome of the vote, which means you change the way the country is run. And that's, of course, the whole point of this. This country has gained 100 million people in the last 30 years. Most Americans aren't even aware of that.
Has gained 100 million people? You mean the population has gone up? What do you mean gain? We haven't... What, are we to assume that we've gotten 100 million Mexican immigrants in the last 30 years? What? Yeah, he's got the Charlie Kirk.
So we've had massive demographic change.
No, we haven't. We have not had massive demographic change. We've had mild demographic change. And as a matter of fact, a good portion of the South Americans, not the Mexicans, but the people who are coming up from Venezuela and Brazil and other places, and people that are in Guatemala, they're making the trek, consider themselves white. They consider themselves Spanish European descendants. That's why it says on your census form, white or non-white Hispanic or non-Hispanic white. You wonder where that comes from? Those people, they come up here as white people.
It's not enough for the people in charge, and so this is an effort basically to pack the electorate. I mean, so if you open the...
Well, they can't vote for 10 years, dummy.
...borders and then sponsor legislation giving citizenship and voting rights to the people you've just admitted...
Which no one is suggesting. He wants you to believe that allowing DACA recipients to actually be able to vote, because they've been here for decades, and then they got a pathway that takes 8 years, they won't be able to vote for almost another 10 years, that he thinks that existing, all right.
Illegally, what are you doing? You're trying to change election outcomes, and that's what they are doing.
I think that's
No, that's not true at all. Just isn't. I mean...
point, but how
it's a point. It's not a truth. It's not real. But why does he get a giant screen on Tucker Carlson? Oh, right, because they're selling the show.
For people,
administration faces backlash over handling of border surge. Well, why aren't they using crisis? Is it because Dennis Prager won't let them?
Who think the Hispanic vote goes automatically to Democrats? They didn't pay attention to the last election.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Tucker doesn't want brown votes at all.
Because the president's picking up a lot of
a lot of
things in Texas, in particular. I think 8 in all, who were mostly Hispanic in the last election. Not enough. They're getting about 9,000 Tucker, 9,000 illegal immigrants daily. Currently, we have 11,000 children unaccompanied, 11,000 plus children, maybe more like 12.
Yeah, just to keep jacking the number up. By the way, the 9,000 that are coming through, how many are being sent back immediately? Of the 9,000, how many of them the next day are the same fucker? How many people are caught multiple times crossing the border, are immediately kicked out, and because they've been deported before, already 3 times this week, wait another week and come back and they're automatically deported because they won't participate in the system. They're never going to get citizenship.
In HHS, and 5,767 is CBP. I don't understand. You maybe could see a bigger picture better than...
Yeah, totally. Well, he's got a bigger picture.
Than I can.
Well, he's on in the afternoon and the evening, so clearly he's, not today.
How does this help President Biden's administration?
Thanks, Amy.
He wants to talk about what has got him 70% approval rating, the $1.9 trillion that he just got. He wants to talk about all his programs, but all everybody else wants to talk about, even Democrats and other networks, is this. How does this...
No, actually, you guys do. But I mean, you guys are obviously running with it all the time, and the other news organizations will do segments on it to deal with it. They're concerned about the number of unaccompanied children. That's the current running issue. And they're concerned for those children. And the CNN and MSNBC and other networks' concern for those children does not deserve to be jumbled up with your absolute xenophobic and racist disregard for the lives of those children. It's that the why matters.
How does this help Joe Biden?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about the border. How does this help him? It draws attention to the fact that we need comprehensive immigration reform. So when they try to pass a bill, after you guys have spent the entire spring bitching about it, by the time they craft a bill and get it through committee and try to float it in August, before the next wave comes, that it might actually help him get that bill passed because you guys don't realize you're walking into a rake?
Well, I think it helps the Democratic Party long term. Again, the Democratic Party is extremely frustrated by the idea that there are Americans who don't vote for them, who reject their program. So if you...
Yeah, I'm so upset that the QAnons and the Trumpsters and the maggots don't vote my way. That's heartbreaking. We're all very frustrated. I mean, who hasn't... What Democratic leader hasn't kicked their dog this week and gone, God, da, and pushed everything off their desk? Or slapped it like Denzel as Malcolm X this week because, just can't get the maggot vote. Why not?
So if you change the nature of the people who live here, then you win forever. So they really do think in longer term.
Yeah, but he was just telling you that especially Catholic-leaning Hispanics aren't necessarily going to be prone to that way. And a lot of people who come over here who make it through eventually get to the point where they want to pull the ladder up after them. Generally, immigrants are anti-open immigration, especially people who've gone through the legal means or other people who got amnesty even during Reagan. Traditionally, those are the folks you're talking about that voted for Trump, are the second generation from people that were given amnesty by Reagan but don't want other people to come in and take their stuff. They left their countries because they viewed themselves as avoiding the rabble or trying to make a better life for themselves. And they don't want it.
Terms, I think. I mean, we're only 2.5 months into the administration at this,
and they're already kicking your ass.
Point. So, I mean, they're thinking 10 years ahead.
Yeah, you guys, the Republicans don't think 10 years ahead. They didn't even think ahead to tell all these guys to say Star of Tucker Carlson today when he's on in the morning and it's daytime.
Which is the way they think. I mean, they think in a much broader way than your average Republican politician.
Yeah, totally. They definitely think in a much broader way than your average. Oh, look at that. A lyric shirt. That might be a first. Thanks, guys.
Would say. The question is, what is happening to all these people? Where are they going? We know.
Yeah, where are they? What are they doing? Who are they being taught to? I mean, they're obviously being put in public schools, the kids there, so they can be indoctrinated into the slavery of that Candace Owens warned us about.
But a lot of them aren't staying at the border. They're being flown into the interior of the country.
When the rest of us haven't been able to fly anywhere.
There's evidence, and I think we're going to have the story tonight at 8.
You think?
That some of these kids are being placed in foster families. In states very far from the U.S. border.
Yeah, and?
If that's true, it's an amazing story. Now, part of...
Why? What, you need them... I see. You want them near the border so they can be kicked out sooner because you think geography is part of the issue?
The problem is the media aren't covering this, partly because they got Biden elected and they don't want to hurt his administration so soon into it, partly because there's been a news blackout on what's happening at the border. But you have to ask, this is a huge number of people, an unprecedented number of people. Where are they?
Well, it's actually quite precedented.
Exactly. Yeah. They're not all in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California.
Well, no, some of them are in Montana, Nevada. Come on, pretty mama, Kilago.
Tucker, you know there's a news blackout because during the...
Because that phrase panics you more than almost any other.
The Trump administration, when there was that one image of those kids in that room that had the chain link fence enclosure, the media melted down and said it's kids in cages. They're essentially in the same cages at the same facility.
No, they're being processed through those areas. They're not being left there. Don't let people go, they're staying there longer than the 72 hours that's mandated by law to act like they've been there for 2 months. They're being placed with foster families. They're not waiting for local foster families to take on more children. A big portion of them are being put back with their parents immediately because while the unaccompanied minor went through, the parents thought, well, I'll cross the shitty part of the desert, I'll drop the kid off, they'll get the kid, and we'll be reunited by our families or friends who are in the country. And they go, no. This is your kid. They had your phone number on them. You've got your phone with you. Come here. We're putting you back together and you got to go home. We'll fly you back to Guatemala, but you're not coming in. That's happening every day.
Facilities, but there's not the outcry that we...
Look how confused Tucker is. I mean, imagine having your face locked in that position as a career.
...saw before. And what's different about...
Seriously. Always. Now, in Tucker's defense, he is listening to Steve Ducey. So...
Now it's the same conditions, but there's a global pandemic. And
oh my, there is? When did that shit start? I thought Trump fixed that last year. There was like 15 cases. Do you even hear about that on Fox anymore?
The news this morning out of the White House is that apparently
I can't do the face. I can't get my brow furrowed on both sides. Seriously, the symmetry of his brow furrowing is legendary.
President of Guatemala.
Oh my God, what is that? A processing table? Oh my God, is those people who just brought in? Oh my God, are those people who are being given a place to lay down and sleep because they're tired until they can be processed into another facility? Oh my God, this is in Oklahoma. Oh no, that's it. That's the footage.
Is worried about the kids and the families coming into Guatemala who might have COVID, which is ironic because the Biden administration released untold legions of migrants.
Untold legions of migrants
into the United States without
and look at that. I mean, it's not that we're playing the same video on a loop. Those are brand new Mexicans. You can't tell them apart. Tell me I'm wrong. Just because that person still got the same collar on that jacket. As we pan across here, and look, it's
testing for COVID. So.
No, that's how we found out that some of them had COVID. It's because they're testing them for it.
On one hand,
you literally had footage of someone being tested a second ago.
Tucker Carlson, you got the president saying,
Christ.
We got to
Thanks, Robin.
We got to bring an end to COVID.
Thank you guys for the super chats today. By the way, thank you, Christopher Holroyd. Hola desde Carolina del Norte. From North Carolina. Oh, thank you. And Thomasana, thank you so much. And thanks for. That's a concern. Fapper International, that's a concern that you're following me. I'm concerned about that now. And Bean Toast, thank you. And Benny Loco reminding everybody to give a thumbs up and like and subscribe to the show. And please consider becoming a patron, support the show, and that kind of stuff. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. Just enjoy it.
At the same time, it's like...
Okay. But it'd be nice if you did. If you helped out, if you could help out, whatever. Just saying.
Okay, the loophole is everybody needs to worry about COVID except the people who are coming in to our southern border illegally.
It's almost... Steve, it's heartbreaking to think that, imagine if what you said wasn't total bullshit.
And just check in with our Border Patrol.
So, in order to hold a job or fly in an airplane, you have to get a vaccine and wear a mask after you get a vaccine.
In order to hold a job or fly in an airplane, you have to get a vaccine. Not true. Clearly not true. Obviously not true. Two masks, they're just complaining. The whole thing. This is now we'll go into what, Fauci bashing? Is that what we're going to?
Reign in terror of the virus after you get the vaccine.
No, that's your emotional state. Not everybody else. We're all just kind of, going, well, until we get more information, I feel safe about myself, but I don't want to carry the disease to somebody else. That would be the one concern until there's enough people who've gotten it where it basically creates a wall of immunity, where the chances of you interacting with somebody are hyper minuscule at that point. that hasn't either had the vaccine or had the virus, herd immunity, never mind.
But people from foreign countries can be admitted without any testing at all. I mean, it's just yet
May I? Just for a moment, if I could. Be right with you. Governor Greg Abbott rejects aid from Biden administration in dispute over coronavirus testing for migrants. Abbott said it is the federal government's responsibility to test the migrants, even though the stations are in there. He turned down, they gave Texas, they're doing this with all the states, they're giving them money to test people, migrants, because a lot of the local, while they'll do it at the federal facilities, thank you, Zoltan, while a lot of the folks who are going through the actual facilities or come in contact with CBP end up getting tested, the ones that are getting picked up by the Texas Highway Patrol, which should be called River Patrol because they're in boats, whatever. The ones that are picked up by them, the state is, needs to do the testing because they're the people coming in contact with them first. And so the Biden administration is like, hey, here's the stuff you'll need. Here's some money to test the people. And they're like, screw it, we're not testing these people. We don't even want to touch them. We'll just, there you go. So just in case you think the Biden administration isn't testing. Untold hordes or whatever it was. Yeah, it's great.
yet another example.
I mean, honestly, he's thinking about having a story tonight about something you could fucking Google in 10 seconds.
Of the intense focus on foreign nationals to the exclusion of the interests of American citizens. I mean, there are like 600,000 Americans sleeping on the street every night.
Now, wait, please, Tucker, do an entire, why aren't we doing something about the homeless problem in America? Please start pretending to give a shit about that stuff.
Homeless. No one seems to care. No one
seems to care. There's entire NGOs set up. City governments are working, around the clock in a lot of cities to deal with it. Nobody seems to care at Fox.
Seems even to notice they're there unless you happen to live in a big city and your park's been taken over by a tent city.
Yeah. I see. We only notice when it's gross.
And yet we're paying for hotel rooms for foreign nationals who broke our laws to get here. Look, it's no attack on people who rode a train from Belize to get here at all. But if you're running the U.S. government, you got to care about U.S. citizens first and foremost. That's your job, but they don't.
I see. So because they're not rounding up homeless people and forcibly putting them in institutions or in hotel rooms, they're not helping with the homeless problem, and at the expense of the taxpayer and the rest of us. But because unaccompanied minors are coming across the border, and we're dealing with children, that's us not okay.
They don't.
Well, look what's happening in California and San Diego, and you're from California, so you can weigh in on this story.
Yeah, you're from California, so you can weigh in. Yeah, he's got California written all over him.
The convention center there, they're asking taxpayers to keep your kids at school who haven't been in school for more than a year. You need to keep Zooming or virtual learning, but your tax dollars need to go toward the migrant children who are here illegally. We're going to pay for them to get an education.
In person.
They're asking teachers to come to the...
In person. Hey, asshole, you want to hand out laptops to all these kids? You want to not educate them while they're during the time that they're in holding, whether they are returned to their families, returned to their own countries? We organize some sort of return with the governments down there. Do you want to just not educate them, not let them play, not feed them, make it hurt? Is that the Stephen Miller zone of it? Meanwhile, our kids are Zoom learning, not because they can die of the disease necessarily, but so that they don't, if they're asymptomatic spreaders, bring it and kill all the school administrators and the teachers and that kind of shit until we can get them inoculated. And they're already open. And we're already in the phase of the opening. They're going to get, the schools in California are going to be open in the first 100 days, just like Biden said. Trump didn't fix this. Kids weren't back in school across, and by the way, 46% of American kids are back in school and have been since the beginning of last year. 46% across the country.
To the convention center and volunteer in person, because they're on spring break right now, to come in and teach the migrant children. How do you feel about that?
Volunteer. Oh my God. Volunteering? What kind of communist bullshit is this?
Well, I mean, it's one of the, I mean, keeping
for a week.
American children out of school for a year is one of the cruelest things this country has ever done. And
I know. And imagine homeschoolers doing it all the time. If there is anything more evil, go after them. Come on, Tuck, Fox and Friends. Please, tell them about Christian homeschoolers. Please go after these folks, finally. Finally, someone's brave enough to say that kids who don't go to a regular school are going to be religious fanatics or psychopaths or completely useless in working in teams and groups with other people. Yeah, go for it. Bring it up.
And it tells you the power of the teachers' unions. There's almost nobody who's for that. There's no...
Almost no one is for it. I'm sorry, were you for teachers being considered frontline workers? Were there vaccines laid aside specifically for all the teachers in the country? The teachers union. The teachers union. Imagine thinking that your biggest nemesis in the fucking world is the teachers union. What kind of scars does this bow-tied hack have from elementary school, or what his parents expected him from, in terms of grades, that they grow up with this kind of burning hatred for the teachers union? What do teachers unions ask for that is so brutally egregious every year? How many stories do we have of teachers having to buy supplies out of their own pocket for elementary school classes, for the children you allegedly care, American children?
There's no scientific basis for the policy.
There's a scientific basis for the policy. In that kids, while they might not get sick from it, can clearly carry it. If they bring it in, or if one of the vendors or somebody else isn't wearing a mask and they spread it to everybody in the school, scientifically, children, especially elementary and middle school children, although I think high school children is an argument for this as well, if they were left to run the school, it would be a Lord of the Flies-like murder fest.
It's killed a lot of people. I mean, mental health issues among children have skyrocketed.
Right. So why didn't Trump institute hey, since kids are going to be home and they're going to be school, we'll turn all of our teachers and the school nurse and other people and HHS and child health and human services and child protection services to go on wellness checks around the clock of kids and make sure that they're working well together, or set up systems where kids can get together that are safe. Beyond that, and why didn't you do that? Because you didn't give a shit.
Skyrocketed, exactly right. And we've interviewed parents of kids who've killed themselves because of the isolation of the lockdowns, and yet they're putting, once again, the priority on foreign nationals. And again, it's not against migrant.
And by the way, kids could meet up with other kids outside of school. Just because you're not having school, parents could arrange for ways that kids could, safely hang out together. And again, none of that was promoted. None of that was, there was no movement in Trump's America. Like right now, Biden's just strictly like, within the 100 days, we're going to get schools up and running again. Just, we've been in for 60 days approximately. We're exceeding our goals by 4 times the expectation as far as vaccinations. We're getting the states on board to give teachers their vaccination so they're safer, so we can get schools open in 100 days. 100 days into Biden administration, they're going to get the schools back open. There was no push for this in the Trump, except for just get them back in there. Just do it.
Kids, but the extent to which they ignore American kids is shocking. And by the way,
they're not ignoring them. They just don't want their parents and their teachers to die.
California has gained 10 million people net since 1990. 10 million.
Has gained 10 million. I guess all of them are brown. Is that what we're going with?
Has the state gotten nicer? No. It's gotten much worse. Immigration is the main driver of population growth in California.
No, it isn't.
People who are born there are leaving, and the state every year gets worse for the middle class.
Why would they leave? Because of immigration? Oh, because you mean you.
No one is standing back and asking, how is this going to improve our country? It's not. And no one is even arguing that it is. I really think Republicans...
Sorry. Are you standing down by the border looking at brown immigrants and going, how is this going to improve our country? Why is no one standing there near Mexican immigrants going, how is this improving our country? Yikes.
Republicans need to wake up and see the big picture here, which is the country will be changed forever, and no one is making the case that it will improve.
And the thing is, it's opportunity.
No one talks like you.
Too, because, hey, I gave you time to run your state in California. What you gave us back.
Oh my God, we're almost to 700 patrons. That's amazing. Our goal is 1,000, but who am I to ask for 1,000 patrons when watercoloring people have 2,000 patrons? Just saying. All I do is one painting a week.
Was homelessness and kids who don't go to school. And a lockdown state with numbers that are higher than New York and higher than Texas, and New York and Texas and Florida are free. So let's talk about something else that is getting a lot of controversy.
They're free? Are they free? I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what? I think he might be right. It might be that that Florida's method, of assessing how to handle this might be way more superior to hi. Florida's COVID death count under new scrutiny following study. COVID-19 data misrepresented by Florida governor. DeSantis office leaks Florida records to fuel COVID-19 Florida COVID-19 deaths near national average south. Near. DeSantis advances questionable link between lockdowns and death. New research of Florida research questions Florida's COVID-19 death toll.
A study published this month says that Florida has underreported its coronavirus deaths by thousands of cases. As Yahoo News reported Tuesday, the study published in the American Journal of Public Health states that the impact of the pandemic in Florida, quote, is significantly greater than the official COVID-19 data suggest.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Tell us again, douchey, what Florida got right and the rest of us didn't.
Controversy, and that's what happens when you get vaccinated. They're talking about a vaccine passport, where if you get vaccinated, maybe you can go to that game. You get vaccinated, maybe you go to that on that plane. And if not, maybe you don't. Governor Ron DeSantis, in a state you're familiar with, Florida, said this about the concept of vaccine passports.
It's completely unacceptable.
Why is he not singing this response? It's completely It's completely unacceptable to have a COVID passport. I don't want no vaccine. I'm not trying to be mean.
Or either the government or the private sector to impose upon you the requirement that you show proof of vaccine to just simply be able to participate in normal society. You want the fox to guard the hen house? I mean, give me a break.
I'm sorry, so private companies are not allowed to set standards for who, so basically the whole no shoes, no shirt, no service thing, basically this is just the Florida man defense.
I think this is something that has huge privacy implications.
I think it's got huge privacy implications for not just Florida, but the whole damn nation.
Come on, everybody.
It is not necessary to.
It ain't necessary now.
Do.
He's not waiting to find out what Joe Biden's going to do, Tucker. Where do you stand?
Why is it left to the governor of Florida to say that? Aren't there 50 Republicans in the Senate? Why aren't they standing all in a line with Mitch McConnell in the Senate saying, no, we're not doing this. I'm sorry, you're not allowed. In this country,
because you're allowed.
Because of HIPAA laws, you're not allowed to know if your kids have a sex change. I mean, and now they're your
Yeah, you are.
private info, whether you're vaccinated or not.
Yeah, if you have abuse allegations against you, it's going to be a little tough.
Is that information will be in the hands of the tech companies, and that will determine whether you can participate in American life? Look, if you're trying to calm people down...
No, you can participate in American life. You'll just have to hang out with all anti-vaxxers. Good luck with your measles.
About the idea of vaccines, and make them less vaccine hesitant, and make them, convince them that it's not a conspiracy run by Bill Gates, a conspiracy theory, then you wouldn't even consider doing something like this. I mean, the amount of paranoia and fear.
Oh, I see. So because they're asking people to prove, instead of just say that they had a vaccine if they want to get on, say, a cruise ship, which is really what this is about. All this stuff about football games and all this stuff about, just flying on an airplane, that's all bullshit. What they're really talking about is the cruise ship industry. The cruise ship industry will want a vaccine passport because for obvious reasons. And one of the reasons why Florida, he's like, private companies want to name them. What private companies? Cruise ships, you dickhead.
And distrust and social division that this kind of policy will engender is impossible.
Yeah, you can't do sensible policy when you've got a bunch of paranoids who are going to react poorly to it. You've got to cater reality to the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world.
To calculate. If you wanted to divide American society even further, you would go ahead and do something Orwellian like this. Of course, they don't care, but...
Well, no, because they do care about actually stopping the virus. The reality of it, not just this perception war that you run.
Where are the defenders of, I don't know, the American way in Washington?
Well, right now I'm in Nevada, but I spent a lot of time in California. I was, there last weekend. I'm constantly defending the American way against assholes like you.
Washington. I mean, they really should be outraged by this, in my opinion.
All right.
In my opinion, yeah. All right.
And speaking of opinion, that's something that we're going to hear a lot more of. And if you moved your head a little bit, we could actually see the sign.
Because it's not our fault we said tonight. Because you can't see the whole word. You can only see the day part. Does it say no day? So maybe it is no day tonight?
It says Tucker Carlson today. Okay, that's...
And, good. And they're using a picture from 1994.
That is right there.
Tucker changed his name to Ucker.
Tucker.
That is funny.
We love the new...
it's so good.
We love the new set. Apparently over the weekend you called in Skip Bedell. You got some wood paneling. This is the official home now of Tucker Carlson today, right?
I like wood.
Home now of Tucker Carlson today, right?
I like wood.
Home now of Tucker Carlson today, right?
I like wood. Wood.
Yeah, that's definitely, CSL, you have to, right? Yeah, that's definitely.
Home now of Tucker Carlson today, right?
I like wood. Wood was alive. I mean, wood is,
Wait, you what? You why?
I like wood. Wood was alive. I mean, wood is...
And now it's dead. He likes living wood. He likes a lively piece of wood.
The greatest building material there is, and I...
No, it isn't. It is not the greatest building material there is. Name the wooden skyscrapers in the city you're in, you asshole.
Like being surrounded by it at all times. Yeah, this is.
He likes being surrounded by wood at all times. He dodged that audio clip.
Essentially, an opportunity to go deeper and longer with.
Yeah. That's why you need wood, so you can go deeper and longer. He likes to go deeper and longer with wood.
Surrounded by it at all times. Yeah, this is.
He likes to be surrounded with wood at all times because.
Essentially, an opportunity to go deeper and longer with interesting.
Really? Come on.
People. I talk less, they talk more.
All right, I'm sold.
Everyone learns a lot.
Who brings the wood?
Super interesting. Right.
Yeah, if you talk less, things get super interesting. Is that what I'm being sold?
You know, these interviews can go on for quite some time, and if you like long form, and I think there's a place
long form wood
for it, it's great. And by the way, it's not easy to get. Not difficult to get. I'm not good at tech, but if you go,
it's hard to get wood. Wood is hard to find.
On to foxnation.com, which I did on Saturday. I was expecting a difficult. No, it's actually super easy.
It's the first time.
You were expecting the new show that you're on, to be difficult to find, and it wasn't because it's on the splash page because it's a new show.
You've gone on Fox Nation?
Thanks. Why do I have a series on there and everything?
I know, Tucker. When you get your show, that's when you're
to sign up.
I
see. Sign up. I have like because I work here, so I have like free access. But I was like, I'm going to do it as everyone else does it. And it's like, it's not hard. And trust me, I can barely operate my iPad.
Right.
But
So
no,
which is why we should listen to you, because. I mean, we wouldn't expect you to be able to operate an iPad. You're much better with wood.
Make it easy for you.
I heard you talk about, you got a clip last night of Douglas Murray, you and him. I have some quality.
Of Douglas Murray?
Quality time. Here's some more.
What's important
here is that we understand that white people are clearly, if you listen to the bell curve, very really. He's just making the fucking Rubin report on Fox Nation.
Society has changed radically.
And I don't know if you've seen how brown some of our borders are. It's terrible. Diana, what happens with, as he likes brown face? Oh, God.
Ugly direction.
Oh, it's ugly. Have you seen them? The gross.
It makes everything political. It wants to politicize everything.
Everything wants to be political. That's why my new book is a coloring book.
It wants to politicize art.
Art. There's no such thing as political art. And if you don't believe me, tell the Dixie Chicks to shut up and sing.
It's to politicize poetry.
Oh, no. The politicization of poems. Next thing you know, there'll be a poet laureate speaking at inaugurations, and she'll be not... How do I put this? Beigey.
All of the things that were meaningful in our lives have been picked up and spun through this cycle of politics.
Oh, it's terrible. And who would do such a thing but like a network? And it's good that I've come on this show run by a political hack, on a show that's really literally politicized all of human life, and have a conversation where I complain about the politicization of all things in life. He's like, that wasn't the clip. Who's that? Like, literally, that's a clip from his show. He's like, who is that?
That's great.
Deep thinker. And you talk to him. That's your first episode?
Yeah, cracking good time. Bringing Douglas Murray on out of the first, Basically, he's just gonna, whoever, Dave Rubin has had on a guest is gonna come on. Milo's next week.
Yeah, what a genius that guy.
Oh, such a genius. It takes to notice that everything's been so politicized, for me, is one of the great signs of my intelligence.
But to talk to him, we split it up into a couple of hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure both of you could just drone on and on about the bell curve.
It was amazing. By the end of that interview,
we were both spent. We'd both been like, luckily, there's plenty of wood to go around.
I was so...
Sweaty.
Relieved and reassured about the future of the country.
The company. I see. You mean Fox Nation?
Yeah, he just has this overview on what's happening.
Yeah, he just makes me feel comfortable and calm. Yeah, maybe somebody hit him with a 2x4.
Happening, and
he liked it.
What we can do about it that changed my view. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, so wonderful. If you guys could just get rid of the Mexicans, be all right.
So Carlson, we have a few openings this summer on vacation. Do you want to fill in on Fox and Friends at all? Like you used to?
That is the toughest. I hope your audience understands
how difficult working with the other two are.
How hard it is
to stand being around 2 out of 3 of you when you fill in.
At 3 in the morning and do 3 hours. I am just filled with awe and respect, and I mean that.
That's a no. I think he's turned down the shift.
Every day is like a telethon.
Yes!
That's when he has coffee with his wife.
That's right. Tucker Carlson today.
What? Wait, Tucker's having coffee with Brian Kilmeade's wife?
In the new Ranch House wood grain studio is available now on Fox Nation. New episodes drop Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Oh, it's going to be magic. I have no doubt. I'm almost out of time, but I want to share something with you. Now, some of you know this dude, this guy Simon Parkes. Simon Parkes is one of the main. He's British as well, yeah, and don't let the mess behind him put you off, right? He's got lots of things to do. The second coming of Trump is happening. He doesn't have time to alphabetize the leftover scraps of stuff. He's got to put over his 5G pyramids over on the table to protect himself from the mind waves, right? So, but I'm not going to grab the whole thing. I just skipped into it because it's all lunacy. But I wanted to share with you, it's an exclusive update, right? Just 4 hours ago this was up. So this is new. This is not the same old shit repackaged at all.
You are just days or weeks away from something happening.
Oh boy, we're just days. Or weeks. I mean, weeks are made of days, aren't they?
You tend to want...
Ah, nice. Egotainment.
To kill all of the conversation because it's really imminent.
Yeah, it's coming any day and or week now.
And I think that's why we might be, simply because so many of the people that I know are under military NDAs. Some are under...
Yeah, a lot of military people, they don't they want to say stuff about the total subversion of the rule of law and democracy in the United States, but they can't because they signed a contract to not yap about it, right?
Commercial NDAs.
Yeah, commercial NDAs, which means they can only talk about it in 30-second increments, and the tail of it's got to be filled with legalese, about side effects and shit.
And they've had it made very clear to them that they risk the process, and so
they're going to screw the whole pooch, man.
They can't afford to do that.
Yeah, it gives me the creeps too.
And other people like myself who are not under an NDA.
No, clearly not. I mean, nobody could get you to sign an NDA. I mean, you don't have anything to disclose, so no one would ask you to. But I'm splitting hairs, yeah?
But have been told there are certain things that we'd rather you didn't talk about.
Yeah, dude, can you shut the fuck up? You're blowing the whole plan, yeah? He says his dad is a reptilian. This dude? Ugh. All right, no, don't make him like him. Don't make me like him.
At the moment.
Yeah. Not yet. Don't spill the beans until it's already happened, right? See you next week.
That's I think where we are. So
thanks, Robin.
I was quite pleased with the little that was dropped in there.
Yeah, little bits, little nuggets, little good things, little bits, little chewy bits, little flaky bits. Little crummy bits, bits with tea.
I never expected a call to arms. We went.
Yeah, no, nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition.
going to have
Our chief weapon is surprise. Surprise and fear. Our two weapons are coming again.
But I was very pleased with the term chief executive and that odd phrase, Biden is not allowed in the White House.
Yes, that is, you're right. I gotta say, it's an odd phrase that Biden's not allowed in the White House, where he lives and where he's been signing lots of shit. I'm kidding. It's a set at Amazon. Jeff Bezos is behind it.
So, that was quite interesting.
Yeah, so interesting.
And we have to contrast that with all the stuff that's going on the mainstream. And
yeah, like what they're saying in reality versus my fantasies. You want to mix those together, don't you? Yeah.
The president in his 1.5 hours hardly mentioned the media.
Yeah, don't hardly mention wood. Because Tucker Carlson might show up like Candyman.
Hardly mentioned them.
Oh, don't say hardly again. Tucker Carlson will literally arrive.
And that again is very suggestive.
Well, it is very suggestive if you keep saying hardly would.
Where he was really quite angry.
Why is he whispering? He's whispering because there's microphones in all of his junk. What are you talking about? He's got the 3 pyramids. That stops the 5G from hearing him. But, they want to find out what he knows. And apparently they don't... The Illuminati doesn't have good internet, so the video's all choppy.
Angry about the courts. I think he mentioned SCOTUS twice or 3 times.
Yeah, this is Trump's remarks, by the way. This is what he's talking about when he's...
And
Yeah.
It's the time he got angry. So
he's so mad. Yeah, whenever Trump gets angry, it's real.
Is again quite an important point, because that shows us that the courts were there or are there.
Or might be there, or could be there, or I don't know. What time are you going to be there? Because I'm going to be late, honestly. It's like 5:03 my time. What time's the court supposed to arrive? Honestly, I'll see you in the court. Eradicator!
To uphold the Constitution.
Right, so the court is there to uphold the Constitution.
We don't have one in the United Kingdom, really, so it's hard.
You don't have a constitution. Yeah, you got a monarchy.
Hard for us to grasp the importance. But in America, it's absolutely like apple pie.
Yeah, that's totally right. Apple pie is what most people don't know this. Oh, thank you so much. Another patron. I know that a lot of people don't know. Some people think it's hemp parchment. The Constitution's written on. Not true. Betsy Ross sewed it on a crust of an apple pie. I don't know if you know that. It's true.
That the court or the courts.
Or whatever. Court or courts.
Uphold.
Pool or pond. We get
the Constitution.
Right.
And the fact they didn't.
No.
The president said they didn't have the guts to do so.
Yeah, it's guts. That's why they didn't do it. It couldn't be that he's just got a shit idea what law is and that they were upholding the law and he's just dumb as a fucking bag of rocks. Which is technically boxer rocks, by the way. I don't know if people... Yeah, I've heard bag of rocks a lot lately and even slipped out of my mouth. That's not good, right? It's dumb as a box of rocks. Fucking hell. Who cares if there are rocks in a bag? Now, stones, on the other hand...
Do so, and I think he's probably right.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Really shows...
Really?
That it is the court system that is
Totally.
under the magnifying glass at the moment.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because he was pissed at a wedding reception and he bitched about the courts. Clearly, there's like a Jewish space laser pointed right at them right now.
At his level, top people level.
Yeah, his top people. Yeah.
Which we could assume may...
Yeah, best to assume, really.
I mean, a re-education of judges.
Oh, great. So re-education camps. Cool.
Q snatch.
All right.
Into constitutional law. And so that, I think, is very interesting. And if that happens...
Yeah, maybe Trump's going to open a Trump University for lawyers that want to be SCOTUS's. How does he have so much crap in his room for? Is he at work? Yeah. He's obviously... he's got to keep everything. Oh, a Zephyr shirt. Got a Queer as Folk fan watching. That's good.
Happens in America.
That should be behind my head, shouldn't it? The thing. I don't know how that. The alert box. Where did it? How did that happen? What happened? What happened? Who did that? It's supposed to be behind my head. Sorry. Put it here. There you go. That's better. Right.
It happened here. We'd have to
You'd have to fight your own goddamn revolutionary war, get rid of the monarchy, create a constitution based on the Magna Carta and the Iroquois Indian treaties, and then like put it all together, and then have a civil war, I suppose, later, something like that. I don't know. Could be.
Retrain and reorganize away from, maritime law to common law. So
yeah, it'd be best.
That again would be a very interesting feed across.
Yeah, but apparently his girlfriend's against it because that means they'd be married by now.
To United Kingdom.
This guy's as bad as the boot and hat guy? No shit.
And other countries. So all in all, I got out of that speech more than I thought. I've seen.
Yeah, it was so good.
Seen a lot of comments from people who threw their hands up in the air and say, "Oh, I give up," and it's all over.
But yeah, people saw that he's at a fucking wedding reception bitching about the courts, and they were like, "Oh, shit! I've been living a lie. Not me. I haven't felt that way."
But that was because they were expecting president to say tanks on the street, and this is going to happen, and it can't happen in a country that's supposed to be a democracy, and just
it can't happen. You can't have tanks in the street in a country that's supposed to be a democracy. You got to have an election and then win oh shit!
The bad guys have done what they've done.
Yeah,
the good guys have got to be a bit cleverer.
Yeah, they got to be a bit cleverer than Trump. How's that possible?
And so those of us in the know did not expect the president.
Yeah, Katie, I don't actually understand what the fuck he's talking about. I know the neighborhood he's speaking in, as far as what he's drawing from. I know what he's been reading, and I know what he thinks when he sees Trump, but I don't know where the fuck he thinks it's going, and I don't know why I know why there's shit on the desk. Look, I've got a mess. I deal with a mess all the time, right? We all do. But close the fucking drawers.
To do that, but we did expect little giveaways, and as I've said to you already, there
they're good.
were some giveaways in there which were very.
Wait a minute. I thought this was just a Trump speech. There was a raffle too.
Very good in terms of what I think they're thinking of and planning on. Yeah. So that's one talk about that. The other one is the potential move to the new financial system.
Oh, the MAGA Gamma, whatever.
I can remember 7-8 years ago, when it was called the Reset, and there'll be people who remember it long before I do.
You mean the same shit keeps coming up and it never actually happens, and you keep talking about it and giving it a different label, but we're all supposed to take it seriously, even though it never happened before, and assholes like you've been talking about it forever. And okay, good. Go ahead.
And I remember that
they're talking about the big financial reset that was supposedly if we do the bank bailouts and all that kind of stuff, where $500 billion goes out to save the economy in 2009, that if Obama is allowed to do that, it's going to be a great financial reset. They called it that then. They're calling it that now. I don't know why I'm speaking with a British accent when I'm talking to you about this shit. It just makes me mad.
That it was already talked about at top levels.
Yeah.
Even then, 7-8 years ago.
Men.
And the stock phrase at the time was, "Don't worry about it. It's all coming down anyway."
Yeah, that's what everybody said.
Meaning the system, the financial.
What a geezer.
System is coming down, and we've progressively seen things occurring.
Yes, it's true. Zoltan. We progressively over time. We've kind of seen,
to move us to a position where, we have some confidence that this isn't just a daydream, that it's a very real probability. And in the daily,
it sounds like it's a safari guide. Welcome to the sleepiest safari ever. Welcome to Trump Safaris. You'll notice that all the Animals have been staked down because we don't like animals here. A couple of them you'll notice are dead. Eric came in and shot them with Don Jr. Yeah, we skinned them, left them there. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So, golf, anyone?
Daily Telegraph newspaper yesterday, in the front of the business page, seemingly unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it together, but you would.
Was a big section about Lloyd's Bank. Barclays to a lesser extent.
Yeah, not so much.
Looking at all of their bankers who have a...
Looking like, oh, look at that. Oh, so it's supposed to be like, there it is. Look at that, Motang.
Salary of £1 million or more, and deciding to really start sacking them. And what they're...
I'm sorry, Motang. So Lloyd's is firing bankers that make a lot of money? I'm sorry, they're laying off rich dudes?
Getting rid of is not the banks, not the place where you go in and put your 100 quid.
No, you're fine. If you got 100 quid, you're fine. Look, that's
go
solid.
in and you take your 100 quid out or whatever it is. Not those places.
No, not those places.
But the glass office blocks where these guys, there's some women, but they're mostly guys.
Yeah, mostly guys. Hey, Spicer.
Sit on the end of a phone, trading our money without our permission.
There is no way this dude's office doesn't reek. Like old books and dog farts. I mean, the dander there, I don't even have allergies, and I can feel my eyes itching just from looking at that room.
Making usually enormous amounts.
But he can't buy a Dyson because obviously it's a mind control device.
Amounts of money on it. Now, maybe the banks know what's coming because...
Maybe.
HSBC...
The Hong Kong, yeah.
Is something like 40%
Hang Seng
reduction now in their office space.
Oh, so that I see. So let me get this straight. After a global pandemic, you know, and as it's starting to wind down, the country that a lot of your type blame for this is seeing a reduction in staff and reach in their banking and other industries as they retract and try to save money because people are feeling less comfortable doing business with China in the middle of this. But no, I'm sorry, Pentaveret.
Again, that's not the branches, not the bank branches. That's a separate closure.
Your Dyson just shot craps.
Program these banks are doing. This is relating to the people that play the big money games.
Yeah, those people. I can relate to them. Cha-ching.
40%. This is in the mainstream news. It's not in social media.
No, not.
40% of HSBC reduction in office space.
Oh my God! So that you mean, holy shit, people are working from home now? When did that start?
So much so that Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, is really worried about all these banks pulling out their expensive plush offices out of central London. Because goodness knows that the rents are high enough. Who can afford them? If banks can't do it anymore, who can?
Well, they're working from home, aren't they? It's...
Maybe make a swimming pool or something. So
what? Out of an entire office block, a block of flats.
And then there was...
Oh, the abattoir.
Lloyd's and others all looking to seriously cut back staff earning $1 million. Now, it's not that they're saving money. It's not that they're looking at these guys and saying, you earn $1 million or you earn $1.5 million. So we're going to get rid of you to save the money. What they're saying really...
Businesses never do that.
...is your job up till now has been to, play the markets.
And there aren't going to be any.
Over the weekend.
And since the market's being destroyed, we're going to save ourselves some
start playing with, investors' money.
Dude, how can an enormous conspiracy of global proportions be this fucking boring? Leave it to the Brits. Christ almighty. Can we, Roseanne, please put out a video that Gussie's up what this dickhead is doing. Because honest to God, I'm this close to room rating this bastard.
people's bank accounts money, and
oh God,
that's what you've done.
Shut up!
And that's how you made.
All right, skip to the end. He's got to be saying something exciting by the end.
Emergency broadcast tests on the commercial band in the United.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, they're going to shut down. Yeah, we're going to hear alarms everywhere. We're going to wake up in the middle of the night. They use sleep deprivation to mind control us.
A lot of connecting conscious members in America.
Yeah, all the people that, buy into his pyramid scheme, no pun intended.
Saying.
Yeah.
And showing us screenshots, so we know it's for real.
Yeah, they're totally for real.
On the commercial side, the emergency broadcast being tested.
Yeah, they test the emergency broadcast system in America? Why? Do they test it with real emergencies? Oh my God, that's what crisis actors are for. They put in crisis actors, they fake these shootings and all these mass killings and stuff, and they do that to see if anybody uses the emergency broadcast system. Like, nobody even bothered to turn it on.
Now, that's not always unusual, because from time to time they will test.
Yeah, but not really.
To keep something working, you do need to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's not what this is. Happy anniversary to Gene and Elena. Elena? Elena? Elena. I'm going to go with Elena on this one. Happy anniversary, guys. Happy anniversary. Sorry that Simon Parks is on screen when I'm saying happy anniversary. That's just sad. Simon, these people are celebrating their anniversary. Clean up your fucking room.
But we've had a lot in the last few days. Quite.
Yeah, too many, really.
A lot. So again, that's another interesting indicator. So
yeah, any second now.
I'm not going to give you any dates or times.
Yeah, that's what activates the microchip. Good one, Gail. Yeah, good, well spotted. Yeah, that's when your nanobots from your vaccine go into hyperdrive, and they just explode all at once.
Because I don't know them, but I am saying that being as helpful as I can.
Well, which isn't. You mean at all? Not at all?
That, when you get
an itch from dander that you haven't cleaned in months.
Right. What America would call...
Happy birthday, sailor! Jerry Swell, happy birthday. 75 years young. And in Canada, where it's great. Thank you, Colleen.
Railroad lines, and in Britain we would call railway tracks. You've got
lines, tracks. You get it. I mean, it might be a little confusing at first.
7 or 8 of them, and then through the...
Most people don't know that trains operate on tracks. If they weren't, if you weren't brought up with Tommy the Tank Engine, you probably don't know shit about trains.
System, they come down to one. Well, I think...
Oh, you mean to cities where most people are?
We're sort of moving towards that one channel of energy, I think.
Yeah, we're all kind of fusing together. We all just need to get naked and oiled up and get ready for what?
We're moving towards that.
What?
I don't see anything that is making me despondent or...
No, clearly not. I mean, the amount of cleaning in my future would make me quite upset.
Or downbeat or disheartened.
Yeah, no. Obviously, you've got no rhythm at all, so the downbeat wouldn't.
Fucking hell. What I'm seeing and what I'm hearing.
This guy actually is the head of a consciousness group that is all over fucking Facebook. This is on YouTube. This has been up for 4 hours and it's got 25,000 views. And this isn't even the primary one. This is like one of these bouncer sites in India and stuff that they put on. And if you watch one of these, the rest of them come up and the algorithm feeds you this shit nonstop. Here, let's see the chat replay in this situation. If they haven't had one. There you go. So let's pause it. Let's look at this. Thank you, Simon, for all you do. Rods of God 3 George Dam. Oh, wow, thanks. Motang. All right. The containers, top lifts, and missiles are ready to attack. Scary. Let's see. Bye-bye Bitcoin. Who is this Nat King Dunya? Why watch old stories with dates changed? Go find these guys on their real channels. Right, because they get kicked off their real channels. That's why I post them. Don't know, I'd like to know. 1776 constitutional law coming in! Exclamation point. Ba-bam! Refuse it, ask for therapeutics. Like, he means the vaccine. Hello, patriots! Come on, military. 80 million people voted for Trump. Dancing with Stars can add millions of votes during commercial break. Okay. There will not be another election. No, because they're not going to let... No. Simon just told you that. 74,000 people have watched just on this channel, not on the original channel, on this dude's channel.
Is confirming the position that I and those of us who were privileged enough to have information, we are waiting.
We're waiting. I don't want to clean up unless I know company's coming over. Oh my God, G. Gordon Liddy died? That's fairly huge. I can't say I'm particularly upset at that thought. The fact that the dude lived to be 90.
For things to happen, and when those things happen, and certainly, it'll be in the public's eye.
Yeah, definitely.
It will have to be, otherwise.
Yeah, otherwise it won't. If it's not in the public eye,
nothing changes.
Right. That's true.
There's no point in doing stuff all the time behind closed doors.
I'm sorry, Christy.
Because the public don't actually see the change.
No, they don't. Unless they see the change, they're not going to believe in it.
And then you just go back to the old status quo.
Yeah, terrible.
So just wanted to give you my feedback on that.
Yeah, it was so good.
And to say that, I'm quietly confident.
Quietly confident with Simon Parks.
As soon as I can be more open and...
Yeah, you don't want to be open right now. Like your drawers and your shelving.
More clear, then of course I and the others will do so.
Yeah, they'll totally do it. Just wait. Guys, keep buying the supplements they sell during every break and just hang on. Hang in there. It's not like I'm a boring British version of Hank Kunneman. No.
So, thank you.
Yeah, goodbye. Thanks.
Be like...
Oh, God. No, I'm not watching Right Side Broadcasting with Doug Billings. Look at the shit that comes up in my... there's Simon again. And his crowd. There's some Kids in the Hole sketches that, for balance. It is stunning to me the number of people who, follow this dude. It's hundreds of thousands. So, anyways, I'm finishing off on the. Oh God, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh God, why do we have to? Why is this necessary? Why do we have to end looking at your face, Marjorie Taylor Greene? It's terrible. And by the way, I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time, 3:00. Thanks for joining me today. And dealing. I'm sure we will have to deal with Tucker Carlson today at some point off the Fox Nation website. Lord of Mars. Oh God. And then of course, I'm having to obviously deal with the fact that this is coming. Hold on. Get back. .com. There we go. This Mike Lindell on his election investigation and frankspeech.com. Eric Matei. Oh, there's Oliver North. Yeah. Mike speaks with Oliver North. Oh God. On Oliver North's show, or I guess it is. Yeah. Best-selling author. Is he does it live from a book signing? It's amazing. Have faith. Stand strong. We cannot give up, as what is coming next is communism. And Right Side Broadcasting had him on CPAC, of course. Lindell speaks at the We the People event. This is great. The quality is amazing. We the People, Arizona Lions. A broken oath is treason. Let's get him. Interview on WFA. What the fucking A? Evidence from November 1st to 5th. Hello, everyone. Here's the latest up. Oh, this is his own thing. Broadside. The People's Paper. The bravest. Motang. The bravest man in America. Wait. That's not the good part. This is broadside, the People's Paper, New England politics and beyond. Without the liberal spin, no way. March 2021, $2. Fighting corruption and lies. Whew. The People's Paper trademarked, so it doesn't have to be true, obviously. The bravest man in America. Finally, a good article. Oh, well, we may have to read that at one point. There's the trailer. We did that, which isn't a trailer. It's a 30-minute movie of its own. And then you could share it, and then you could join his Telegram and all that shit. And then Unmasked has the truth between the 2020 election covered. We did this as well, and the answer is no. And you can still get a copy of his memoir for just $9.97. And the shipping is free, guys. With God, all things are possible. Except for, of course, Trump being, winning the election. And, and staying under 125,000 deaths, I think, under COVID. Apparently, under God, that isn't with God. Well, maybe, I guess he's making the point that it's not fair. He could be making the point that that Trump is not with God. I mean, he'd have me on that one. That's amazing. That is... That's beautiful. Okay, so... Yeah, we've seen all this shit before. He's just reiterating the same garbage. But this will be where his... he doesn't look tired at all. And the Eric Metaxas dude... we've covered this guy before. Like, I'm not gonna... Boop, dee boop. Where is he? Yeah, is he just live on there? Or just not even... Is Eric on his own show? Oh, there's Eric. Yeah, there he is. So, there we go. Hold on. Back what? Hold on. Use code ERIC. Seriously, Mike Lindell is just buying his way onto all of these shows. And by the way, do you know Simon Parks by any chance? Just piles his shite everywhere. And by the way, this guy covers a lot of ground too. This guy's on all the, yeah, it's Super Mario, but he thinks it's cute. Release the Kraken head. Use code ERIC, and he sent him one. Yeah, it's written in Sharpie. He just made his own little thing. Just pitiful. And I don't know, again, he's in, and I guess one of the office things at My Pillow, where they have like a small TV monitor and meeting system in this cabinet. Why he's not facing it, I don't know. Are those diapers? What's over here? Is that ramen? Ugh. Anyways, we'll cover that sometime. That's 40 minutes. Nobody needs that kind of shit in their life. This one's a little shorter. Maybe we'll do this one tomorrow or something. Ugh. Ollie. Yeah, he's in the break room. He totally is. That's funny, though. This is kind of gorgeous. Focus talk. Is this a video or is it just... Oh, it clicks to something. Oh, it's... all right. NTD. All right. There you go. Done music that we buy from the thing on Focus Talk.
Hi, welcome to Focus Talk.
Hi, fantastic. Good to see you. Thanks for being there. This is not at all a propaganda network at all. Go ahead.
Today our guest is none other than Mr. Mike Lindell, the CEO of My Pillow Company. Mr. Lindell, it's great to have you on our show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thanks for letting me pay for the entire segment.
Thank you for taking the time. I know you have a lot on your plate. So
Yeah, no, he doesn't. What are their other stories? Czech billionaire among 5 killed in helicopter crash at Alaska Glacier. Something's up. Group sues Congress, seeks new presidential election. Oh, okay, sure, that'll happen. Serial killer Joseph Edward Duncan dies. All right, well, they were obviously tracking that. Container ship stuck in Suez Canal partially refloated. This is days old. Giant container ship that blocked Suez Canal finally free. Wouldn't you? All right. Biden administration responds to reports on development of vaccine. All right, as you do. More illegal immigrant apprehensions that what? Than 2019 crisis. Official. Uh-huh. Yeah, NTD. Good times. They're lovely. Vaccine passports raise privacy inequality concerns. This is good. Yeah. Oh God. We never. I mean, I don't go on here because we don't. Again, lunacy. United States on Tuesday joined more than a dozen other nations to express shared concern about a Wuhan study on the CCP virus origin. Yeah, okay, that's their main thing because this is the Falun Gong network. We'll cover that later. Oh God, I suppose I could do a deep dive into NTD. Criminy. Thanks, Amy. I understand. You guys have a wonderful night. I'll let you go. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been a joy. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and like and subscribe and all that kind of fun stuff and all the stuff I'm supposed to say that I always forget to say. And tomorrow we'll be on at our regular time.
Transvestites.
And we'll talk more about
Transvestites.
And clearly, and yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest stick.
I understand, but what are you going to do about it? And I think we have more Diamond and Silk tomorrow, and then I start shooting this week the Sexy Liberal stuff for the next one on April 10th. So I will be expect me to have hat hair a few days this week. Clearly, just saying, because I've got stuff I've got to shoot between now and Tuesday, so it's going to be a mad rush again. And I've got a few. I feel solid about the ideas this time, and I got a couple of things that are pent up, and I feel like I'm going to shoot them, and they won't get into the thing, and I'll have to release them, just give them to you guys, which is totally fine. Lyman and Bilk, yeah, I'm going to do Dirtbag and Fecus as the two redneck versions of Diamond and Silk. We'll make something of that, I have no doubt. All right, I will let you guys go. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.
The biggest loser is the state with the shortest stick.
Piece of malware called Q-Snatch.
100% proof. Wow.
I call the stroker.
What?
I call the stroker.
Viciously and horribly attacking the white race.
What?
The stroker.
Transvestites.
First Lady's doing great, and I would say fully recovered or just about fully recovered, but we are fully recovered, and I am.
For Iowa values, for Iowa values, for Iowa values. Barron is beautiful, and he's free.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
Butthole! Michigan gave us Motang.
Tell them, McCluskey. Tell them what time it is.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Did you hear that? Yeah. It's a dick fur. What's a dick fur? To pee with.
See this? This is my boomstick. They don't like the gas. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Something strange happened to me this morning. Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you? No. Why am I the only person who has that dream?
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Dr. Evil.
You
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
So that's the kind of fight it's going to be.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Soon we will leave this lame planet and fly through outer space with cool aliens who like us. It is going to be awesome! Sultan!
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaveret, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaveret?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
Geez, you're real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Take off, eh?
Let me put it this way, Mr. Hamer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Votan! Votan!
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
Votan!
Soon we will leave this lame planet and fly through outer space with cool aliens who like us.
You lied to me!
Hail to the king, baby.
It's good to be the king.
Groovy.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Beef jerky? Oh, no, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted.
The golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Take off, eh?
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
People are coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup.
I do it because I have, like, a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
You're a lying dog-faced Tony Short.
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Wood was alive. I mean, wood is, you know, the greatest building material there is. And it was alive.
Awesome today, right?
I like wood. was alive. I mean, wood is, the greatest building material there is. And I like being surrounded by it all the time. Yeah, this is essentially an opportunity to go deeper and longer with interesting people. I like wood.
Carlson today, right?
I like wood. Wood was alive. I mean, wood is, the greatest building material there is. And I like being surrounded by it all the time. Yeah, this is essentially an opportunity to go deeper and longer with interesting people.